Hello everyone. I am so glad that you could join me again. In today's episode, I want to share with you 3 of my all-time favorite freezer dinners. I'm making a hearty turkey and carrot loaf topped with tomato paste and bacon. Creamy macaroni and cheese with broccoli florets and sausage. And savory sweet marinated teriyaki chicken thighs. Let me ditch this jacket, and then we can get cracking in the kitchen. The first recipe is a magnificent turkey loaf. It includes shredded carrot in the mix. So I have 4 fat carrots here that I've peeled. These peelings will go on my compost, and that compost will feed my garden. You can easily shred carrots in a food processor. I'm going to use my box grater today because, frankly, I need the exercise. Here are my shredded carrots. A lot of people have asked me about this bench scraper. I use it almost every time I prep food. And I often forget to link it in the description because it's just such a common, to me, piece of equipment. But I will try to remember to link it in the description below this video. I had one more carrot to do. I am doubling my recipe, so I need 2 9-inch loaf pans, which I am going to spray with vegetable spray. This pan has one of those nifty lift-out things. It's perforated so the fat drips through. These are turkey loaves. There's not going to be much fat. Now I need a huge bowl. I'm putting on my food prep gloves because we will be mixing this turkey loaf with our hands. I'm doubling the recipe, so I hope this bowl is large enough to accommodate all of this turkey. It's 4 pounds. Shredded carrots. 2 cups of chopped parsley, which I already chopped. A teaspoon of salt. I'm using kosher salt. Grinds of black pepper. 2 generous tablespoons of Worcester sauce. 2 cups of breadcrumbs. 1½ cups, or a great big handful, of grated or shredded cheddar cheese. And this big mound here is making me a little nervous, but I'm going to dive in anyway. Oh, I forgot. I need 4 large eggs. Have you ever seen such beautiful eggs? These are from a local farm. I'm going to try to mix this. I gave up on that large bowl and opted for a roasting pan. If I'm going to take batch cooking seriously, I should probably buy one of those 30-quart stainless bowls. Now we can get to mixing. The nice thing about having dinner already made and in the freezer is on those days when you are too tired to cook or you just don't feel like cooking, it's great to be able to just pull something out of the freezer and pop it into the oven or the microwave. I know that on the days when I prepare afternoon tea for friends, I generally don't feel like preparing dinner afterwards, so this will be very convenient for me. Now my oven is preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. So now I simply need to divide this mixture between the two loaf pans. I really pack it down. My mother always topped her meatloaves with ketchup and bacon. I like to top mine with tomato paste and bacon. So I'm putting 6 ounces or 170 grams of tomato paste on each loaf. I love this turkey loaf with mashed potatoes and baby peas. Of course, it's also great for sandwiches. 3 strips of bacon. These are very thin strips. I'm going to do 4. Maybe I'll do 5. You can freeze this turkey loaf unbaked. Just be sure to wrap it really well before you pop it into the freezer. I'm going to bake mine right now until the internal temperature achieves 165 degrees Fahrenheit or 74 degrees Celsius. Then I will let it cool to room temperature, cut the loaf into slices, and freeze the slices. The loaves will need to bake for 60 to 65 minutes. I'm going to clean the decks, and then we can move on to the next recipe. This next recipe is macaroni and cheese, but I'm going to turn it into a full meal by adding broccoli florets and slices of turkey kielbasa. I'm cutting the broccoli florets rather small, and we are going to roast the florets. So it will be macaroni and cheese with roasted broccoli and sausage kielbasa. I'm tossing the broccoli onto a small baking tray, and then to help the broccoli to caramelize in the oven, I'm going to drizzle it with some very nice extra virgin olive oil. Salt, pepper, toss. I will roast the broccoli for about 10 minutes in a 425 degree Fahrenheit or 220 degrees Celsius oven. While the broccoli is roasting, we might as well cook the pasta. I'm using 1 pound or 454 grams of elbow macaroni, and my pot of water has already come to a boil. After the water boils, I like to heavily salt it. The salt permeates the pasta and gives it a lovely taste. I will boil the macaroni just until it's al dente. That will take about 6 minutes. Then I need to lightly grease my 9 by 13 baking dish. My broccoli is roasted, my pasta is done. And I did run cold water over the pasta just to avoid having it clump up. Now we can move on to the cheese sauce, and I will be using a combination of cheeses for the cheese sauce. So I have 1 pound or 453 grams of sharp cheddar cheese here. I have some leftover Swiss cheese from another recipe that you and I made. I don't remember which one. I'm going to add it right in. This is probably 1/3 of a cup. I also have some Gouda, or some people say Gouda cheese that I bought at Aldi's for a cocktail party, and I never used it. So I'm going to chop that up and add it to the cheese mixture. To make the cheese sauce, I bring 2 cups or 480 mils of whole milk to a simmer. Then I stir in 1½ tablespoons of cornstarch blended with enough water to make a smooth slurry. Cornstarch thickens the sauce almost immediately. Off heat, I stir in a dash of smoked paprika, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, and the cheese. Stir until the cheese melts. Now we can add this luxurious cheese sauce, which is rather thick, to the macaroni. I decided not to add the Gouda cheese because I figured I already had enough cheese in this sauce. Now, if you do not like a thick cheese sauce, you can always thin yours out with additional milk. Now I want to add the roasted broccoli. Stir it in. To add protein to this dish and make it a complete meal, I'm going to slice up, well, this is 13 ounces or 368 grams of turkey kielbasa. And of course, this is already cooked. I'm just cutting this into medallions. For a crunchy topping, I'm adding some breadcrumbs. And to really take this dish over the top, I'm going to drizzle the breadcrumbs with some melted butter. I just need to pop this into the microwave. Now, I will feel a lot less guilty eating this macaroni and cheese because it has the healthy vegetable and the protein and butter. We need to cover this dish with aluminum foil. And into the oven it goes, covered for 30 minutes and then uncovered for about 15 minutes or until the top turns golden. So our turkey loaves are done, and boy do they smell wonderful. And our full meal macaroni and cheese is done. It too smells incredible. I'm going to let the meatloaf and the macaroni and cheese cool to room temperature. Then I will slice up and freeze the turkey loaves. And this, I think we will have some of it for dinner tonight. The rest of it I will freeze. Now, I have one more recipe to do, but before we get to it, I want to run to the store to buy some spring flowers for the parlor. So please come take a ride with me.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope.
I was lucky enough to find at my local market tulips that had not yet opened their colorful petals. These tulips will bloom in the moderate warmth of my house. Home again, I am cutting green sprigs from the boxwood and yew in my garden. This greenery will complement the pastel colors of the tulips.
For the final freezer meal, I'm going to make teriyaki chicken thighs. This will be very easy to do because there's no initial cooking involved. With this recipe, I'm going to put the chicken thighs in Ziploc freezer bags. Probably do, let's see, 2, or maybe I'll do 4 per bag. Let's see how this is going to work. I will do 4. I have my Ziploc bag in this vase just to hold it in place.
To each bag of 4 chicken thighs, I am adding a 1/4 cup or 60 mils of oil, 2 heaping tablespoons of brown sugar, a teaspoon or more of grated fresh ginger, a 1/4 cup or 60 mils of tamari sauce, grinds of black pepper, and 2 squirts of garlic paste. Then I sealed the bag and massage it to mix all of the marinade ingredients.
Here's how I do the chicken thighs. I freeze them flat, and then the day before I wish to serve them, I take them out of the freezer and transfer them to the refrigerator. As they thaw in the refrigerator, they become marinated. And to bake them, I simply pour the contents of a bag into a shallow baking dish, and then I bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. It's a fabulous weeknight meal. It's also company worthy.
I like to serve these marinated thighs on a bed of rice. I garnish the chicken with toasted sesame seeds and slender rounds of green onion.
The turkey loaves are still warm. I need them to come to room temperature before I can unmold them and slice them and freeze them. But I have decided that we should have some of this glorious macaroni and cheese for dinner tonight. Let's light a fire in the parlor fireplace. I'm serving this magnificent macaroni with a side of baby spinach leaves that I lightly dressed with raspberry vinaigrette. And my apologies for the very chatty kitty who is behind me. Wow, this macaroni is fabulous. It's very creamy, it's very cheesy, obviously, but the broccoli and the sausage really sends it over the top. Well, we certainly accomplished a lot today. I hope you will give these freezer meals a try. And in the comments, please let me know if you have a favorite freezer meal. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you for spending time with me today. I cannot tell you how much I value your company. I can put a couple of my other videos up here or up here that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. Until then, please treat yourself well, and I will see you in the next episode. Cheers.